While the rest of the league shouted for attention this offseason, the New Orleans Saints did something far more dangerous. They stayed quiet and worked smart. No splashy headlines, no desperation signings, just a calculated shift from mediocrity to momentum. Instead of chasing trends, the Saints engineered a new identity from the inside out. They traded in predictability for unpredictability, abandoned stale strategies for innovation, and brought in a play caller whose arrival changes everything. With Kellen Moore now at the controls, New Orleans has become one of the most overlooked threats in the NFL. That silence? It might just be the calm before a storm. This is not the same Saints team that stalled through last season. This version is faster, more aggressive, and startlingly dynamic. It's not merely about a playbook overhaul. It's about reshaping the very personality of the offense. Every key piece on this roster is being reimagined. Alvin Kamara is no longer relegated to checkdowns and clogged running lanes. Chris Olave won't just be stretching the field with deep shots, he'll be slicing through the middle of defenses with calculated rhythm. Even the quarterback room looks different. And for once, it fits. For too long, the Saints felt like a puzzle with the wrong pieces forced into place. Now everything seems aligned. The personnel finally complements the vision. The system isn't being molded around individual stars, it's being executed by players tailored to its core philosophy. That's the sign of an organization with a plan, and Kellen Moore is the architect behind it. The implications are massive. New Orleans is no longer built to survive games, they're built to dictate them. The scheme demands motion, speed, and flexibility, and it's all set to unleash a version of this offense we haven't seen in years. Yet somehow, no one's talking about it. That makes this team all the more dangerous. Let's not misunderstand what Kellen Moore brings to the table. He didn't come to New Orleans to tear it down. He came to unlock it. The pieces were already there, just misused, misaligned, and underwhelming. Olave, one of the league's most explosive young receivers, was stuck running lifeless routes with no coordination. Tight end Juwan Johnson disappeared in the red zone. Kamara ran behind an offensive line that created more frustration than holes. Moore's job isn't to reinvent the talent, it's to bring purpose to the play calling. And already we're seeing signs of a sharper, sleeker offense that finally belongs in the modern NFL. The change isn't just in what's being called, it's in why it's being called. Motion now serves a tactical purpose. It draws out defenders, exposes matchups, and manipulates leverage. Olave is being moved inside more often to attack zones with surgical timing. Kamara is being placed in space, where his agility is a weapon rather than a wasted asset. Even the route concepts have shifted. Fewer deep prayers, more precise breaks. Less desperation, more design. But for all this to work, one variable remains critical: the quarterback. In Kellen Moore's offense, timing is non-negotiable. The ball has to come out quickly. The quarterback has to move, both within the pocket and beyond it. That's where last year's version of Derek Carr created bottlenecks. He was static, defenses knew it, and when the pocket collapsed, so did the drive. That's no longer acceptable, and now for the first time in years, the Saints have mobility under center. Not just one mobile quarterback, but two. Tyler Shough and Spencer Rattler may be rookies, but they represent something this team hasn't had in recent memory, a threat that extends beyond the pocket. Shough, out of Texas Tech, brings dual-threat instincts and impressive numbers on the ground, averaging 8.0 yards per scramble. Rattler, a former South Carolina standout, plays with a measured aggression. He escapes not to freelance, but to extend, the kind of quarterback movement that turns busted plays into first downs. And this creates a real dilemma, because in this offense, mobility isn't a bonus, it's a necessity. The moment one of these rookies looks even remotely capable in camp, the coaching staff is going to feel the heat. Carr's inability to move will become an anchor. Meanwhile, Shough and Rattler represent freedom, options, potential, the kind that opens up the full depth of Moore's playbook. This isn't about arm strength or aesthetic spiral. It's about survival on third down. It's about spacing, rhythm, and forcing linebackers to stay honest. Last year, the Saints failed here hard. They converted just 35.2% of third downs, one of the worst marks in the league. That number tells the entire story of their offensive dysfunction. Don't underestimate what a 5% jump on third down conversions can do for a football team. One more successful conversion every few possessions shifts everything. It means longer drives, shorter fields for your defense, and more scoring opportunities.
It's the difference between punting from midfield and finishing in the red zone. In Kellen Moore's offense, the goal isn't to light up the scoreboard with 30 points a game, it's to sustain drives, own the tempo, and chip away at opponents with relentless consistency. That's where quarterback mobility becomes more than a perk, it becomes the hinge on which the offense swings. Defensive coordinators spend their weeks scripting for routes, coverages, and pressure looks, but what they can't prepare for is a quarterback who breaks the structure with his legs. That was the hidden advantage in Philadelphia under Moore, where 3rd and long didn't always mean a pass. Sometimes it meant a quarterback draw that caught defenses off guard. And now that same principle is heading to New Orleans, with younger, faster legs. Tyler Shough and Spencer Rattler aren't just emergency backups, they're live threats. Both bring mobility that adds new wrinkles to every down. Shough averaged a remarkable 8 yards per scramble at Texas Tech, not because he ran when panicked, but because he ran with purpose. He's decisive, fast enough to punish linebackers, and careful enough not to overextend. Rattler, a little more measured but just as effective, posted 7 yards per scramble at South Carolina. These are not busted plays turned lucky. They're calculated responses that punish defenses for overcommitting downfield. Once you introduce designed quarterback runs, bootlegs, and late read options, the entire geometry of the defense shifts. Edge rushers can't crash as hard. Linebackers hesitate. Safeties creep up. And that's when players like Kamara and Olave do real damage. Moore understands this timing better than most. He doesn't just call plays, he layers them. He knows how to weaponize hesitation. With mobile quarterbacks, even broken plays become opportunities. The Saints lacked that flexibility with Carr. Now they've got it in spades. And while the stars are drawing attention, it's the lesser-known names that might truly shift the Saints' identity. Kendre Miller, a forgotten name in 2024 due to injuries, is quickly becoming a focal point behind the scenes. Entering 2025 healthy and determined, Miller brings a power-speed combination that makes him ideal for short-yardage situations, an area where New Orleans struggled last season. In Moore's vision, Miller could become a closer, the guy who keeps drives alive when it's 3rd and 2 and the game is in the balance. Another player drawing quiet confidence is Foster Moreau. He's not flashy, but he's dependable. A strong inline blocker with soft hands, Moreau gives the Saints a middle-of-the-field presence that keeps defenses honest. He's not stealing snaps, he's earning them by doing the little things right. Then, of course, there's Taysom Hill, the one-man wildcard who refuses to fade. Call him a gadget, call him a decoy. Whatever you label him, Hill remains one of the most unpredictable forces in football. And unpredictability is exactly what this Saints offense is now built on. But it all hinges on the final piece of the puzzle, the offensive line. Kellen Moore's system thrives on timing, and nothing disrupts timing faster than a breakdown in protection. That's why all eyes are now on rookie left tackle Kelvin Banks Jr. He's not being eased in, he's being thrown into the fire. The Saints need him to anchor a unit that for years has been patchwork at best. Banks isn't just holding a spot, he's holding the future. Physically, he has the tools, elite footwork, long arms, and raw strength. But what he lacks is experience against NFL speed, blitz disguises, veteran pass rushers, and the chaos of pro-level reads. That's the gamble. And yet, it's one New Orleans is willing to take. Because with Eric McHugh stabilizing the interior at center and Cesar Ruiz continuing to develop at guard, the rest of the line might finally have the foundation needed to give Moore's offense a real chance. So here's where it all comes together. If Banks Jr. adapts quickly, if the running game clicks behind a balanced rotation, and if one of the mobile quarterbacks takes the reins with confidence, the Saints might not just start fast, they might catch the entire league off guard. A 3-1 start isn't out of the question, neither is a playoff run. But that window closes quickly if the execution isn't clean. It's all there. The only question is, will New Orleans finally seize it?